what's up? This is Jason Burress with the 25th episode of the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast. We do have some half episodes in there, but the whole episodes are all about legal and the law firm. And so this is episode 25, a whole episode. And today I've got some special guests with me, Kristen and Rachel. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Number one, we have a little different setting. So usually the podcasts are across town in an office building, and we've got a little change. So the next probably two podcasts will be here at the casa. So, and you hear the dog and hear the dog.
Yep.
But look, it's real life. It's real life, and we got space issues, and it is what it is. So introduce yourselves and tell the listeners and the viewers what you're going to be doing for the firm. Because you've had, 3 weeks of preparation for the podcast. I mean, you were notified about this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, yeah. So because I was notified so far in advance, I do want everybody to know my answer is really indicative of the quality of my work here.
Yeah.
No, I am Rachel Hatten Adams. I am really glad to be the newest attorney here. And I'm a plaintiff's personal injury attorney, just like y'all. And that's what I'll be doing here.
And I'm Kristen May. I'm going to be the firm's first chief operational officer. Background is in operations, business development, and healthcare. So this is going to be different for me. Yep.
So both of you are actually on your first day. Does anybody need me to get because I can get a glass of wine or I can get some Excedrin? What do you need to make it?
Actually, I have been taking Tylenol. I slipped my back last week. So
you did?
So I'm on Tylenol.
I thought you were on vacation.
I was, and I did it on vacation.
What did you do?
I don't know. I do not have a good story for that. I woke up on Thursday and could not walk.
Ouch.
Ugh.
So I'm on medicine.
Now that you're over 30, these things happen. So
I'm not over 30.
Yeah.
Well, I still say I'm 29-ish. I'm going to ride that out for as many years as I can. I'm in my mid-30s, though.
If I could stay 39, I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah. I think
define an ish. A lot can be.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
We got girl power. We got major girl power here. I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, too. I think I heard I was the first female attorney.
Yeah.
Y'all needed a female. I'm glad to be it. I get to be the lucky one.
But it's hard. It's hard to find one who really fits with the culture, and then two, one who is a trial attorney. I will just tell you, I mean, hiring for a long time now, but you tend to find female attorneys who maybe don't try a lot of cases. Now I happen to know, so Dreyer's wife, Wendy, is probably one of the best attorneys I've ever seen, male, female, in between, whatever. She's incredible. So there are fantastic female attorneys. I'm just saying, a lot of times life doesn't set up as well. And so for whatever reason, like kids or whatever it is, you tend to see a lot on pre-suit, a few in litigation, but your reputation, I'm so excited. Of all the attorneys that I've ever hired, I've actually never had a feeling better than with you. I mean, I mean exciting. That. I mean that because so many people text messaged and called and said, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you got Rachel," and I hadn't said a word. I mean, I was being pretty quiet, but I got, and I'm talking about lawyers, defense counsel, plaintiffs counsel, mediators. Your reputation really precedes you, and I think that's incredible.
Well, thank you very much. I will likewise say so does your reputation and the firm's reputation. I mean, I was very happy at my old firm. It was a great firm. It would have taken a lot to entice me away, and that's you, and then the Burress firm. So to your point about there being few female trial attorneys, I don't know why that is, other than it is hard with kids because the inherent part of trial is it's unpredictable. It's real hard to plan. But with a lot of great support, I get to be one of those. And it's a unique little unicorn, but I think when it works, it works. So I'm excited, and I think we can, make it better. The best thing that we can.
I know we can.
Yeah, I know.
I
Right.
feel great about it.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to get started. I was giving you your distance because I knew you were on a trip, and I was trying not to bug and stuff. And I only texted you a couple of times, but you took a trip to Japan
Yes.
before you started. So tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, it was the best trip. It's the first time I've ever been to Asia, let alone the Far East Asia, and I wanted a culture shock, and that's what I got. And it was really cool. It's just my husband and I, our 1-year-old, he just turned 1. He was left with the grandparents. So it was our first time to be that far away for that amount of time. And it was neat to have my travel partner, Gary, and we were both just fish out of water, and to really explore and get lost together and figure it out together. And, really see a completely different, well, quite literally side of the world. That was very exciting, and the bucket list trip. I highly recommend anybody to go to Japan for sure.
What were the highlights?
We spent about 4 days in Tokyo, 3 days in Kyoto. I think the highlights, because most people don't go over to Japan just for a week. It's normally like a 2-week, and so we jam-packed 2 weeks worth into 1 week, and therefore every day was a 10, right? Every day was packed with all the good stuff. But my favorite parts were going to Mount Fuji. It was beautiful. I can absolutely see why that was such a sacred place in Japan for so long, and still is. Mount Fuji, and then I loved exploring Kyoto. It's a lot more laid back than Tokyo, the big city, and to just have a little bit more room to breathe and talk to people and wander around. You could explore Kyoto without as much of a purpose as Tokyo. I felt like in Tokyo, man, everything is purposeful. You're going from point A to point B. And in Kyoto, we could just kind of wander and get lost, and quite literally lost in the surroundings. And everyone was just so nice and respectful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's wonderful.
What about you, Kristen?
cool.
You tell us a little bit about your background, and did you do anything before your first day?
So my background, like I said, is in healthcare. I've been doing that for 15 years, and specifically the eye care industry. So the last 3 years I've worked for a private equity firm, and we do integrations post mergers and acquisitions. So we buy optometry and ophthalmology practices. So again, just a lot with business development, different revenue streams, operations in general, systems, bettering the processes, bettering systems. So that's my background. I've done that. That was my second job out of college after I graduated. So I've been there a long time.
One of the things I like about both of you is that you spent a lot of time with your past organizations. You didn't. Neither one of you bounced around the 3, 4, 5 different teams. You stayed where you started, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. We are not doing our big family vacation until end of August. We're going to go to Kiowa Island outside of Charleston. So we've never done that. So we're going to do that. But we did go. We just took the boys to Horseshoe Bay Resort. We do that every year. It's just a easy lake vacation. So we just did that last week. And that was a lot of fun.
That's where you threw your back out?
It is.
Ouch.
Yeah. I have no clue. And everybody's like, oh, you're so tan. I'm like, it's really because I couldn't get out of the chair. I was like, Rusty, I'm baking, literally. So went to the chiropractor. I've gone a couple times.
So you mentioned Rusty. He's a friend of ours, friend of mine, former client of the firm, coffee drinking buddy, all that stuff. And the funny thing is, I do not for a second believe that you need to have law firm experience to help in administration or operations. Frankly, I think it's better if you're outside of it, have some examples to prove that theory. But I had been after you for years. I mean, I've known you a little bit. I've known him really well, but I've known of you for a long time. And I was after you. I mean, I was hot on your trail. And but Rusty told me that, I just remember it because I was just this close to saying, can you put something together so we could talk? And he came right up to me. He's like, oh, Kristen got this big promotion. She's in charge of all these people. And there's anytime you hear venture capital, you're just, my mind gets blown. It turns out they did not have the degree plan for venture capital at Southwest Texas State University. Decidedly not. So when I heard that, I got discouraged. I never, ever approached you. And I would have approached you, and I'll tell you where I was going to approach you. Mm-hmm. I've never told you this before. No. I was going to approach you at, I believe it was Lockmiller's. It was either Lockmiller's. Okay. I know it was at the TPC. So it was either at Lockmiller's going away party from being the mayor, or it was at the first McKinney Police Association golf tournament that we sponsored. Either way, it was like 5 years ago, and I was going to approach you, and then I got this message, and I got scared and didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
I know, and crazily enough, my husband never told me that. Like, okay, I mean,
because you might have seen me and said, "Hey, I'm open for discussion."
Made a different choice, but I've thought about that. It's interesting. I would not have been ready 5 years ago for this job. So specifically the last 2 years has taught me so much about just business in general, business health, P&Ls, EBITDA, like just leadership. And I mean, I'll be honest, I thought like I was doing really good in that category until 2 years ago, and I met all these amazing leaders, and I was like, oh, I'm not that good. Okay. So I've really gotten to have a front row seat for some awesome leaders. So I'm super excited about that, to be able to put some of those, ideas in place. So I think things worked out the way it should.
That's
Timing
nice.
is right. Timing feels good.
So why did both of you join the firm?
So, I mean, for me, it was just, I'd been feeling this pull, specifically for the last 6 to 9 months, just to get out of healthcare. I just was not, I wasn't as energized about it as I should be. I loved my teams. I loved the group that I worked with. We've been together so long, and then even to have a new group, they were just amazing. But I just kept feeling this like, I can't do this anymore. And I just didn't know what that next step was. So when I started speaking with you, like I said, I knew you. I knew your values. I knew what the firm stood for. I knew that aligned with me, with my beliefs, what I want to come to work and do every day, and the type of people that I want to be around. And it was just a feeling for me like, this is the next step. This is where you need to go. I mean, Jason and I have had several meetings. I'm sure he's like, oh my God, please no more meetings. But I wanted it to feel right for both of us, and it does. So it was more of just, I didn't really know what industry I was going to go into. I knew that my skills were transferable. I just did not know where that was going to be. It just feels right.
Yeah, and those meetings, I always like that, because, I mean, I started looking back, and when I was trying to figure out offers and so forth, I mean, I was having to like really dig, because our continuity has remained. And we've had iterations of the firm where all of a sudden you'll lose a couple of people that and most of the time you're okay with it, and then sometimes you're like, but it's been so long. Like the team that we've put together, they all get it. They all have the same values. Team. They're all pushing, and so all of a sudden, like we have the exact same team this year that we have last year. We just have a few additions, and the year before that, it's the same team. And so all of a sudden, like I'm having to go back to 2021 to find any change. And so I think that one of the commonalities to reach that result is I think taking a longer time to get to know each other and make sure that you're on the same page and want the same page, I think that's pretty important, because we can get in the habit of somebody in my role trying to sell myself or a firm to you, and then vice versa. And I don't think it works as well.
Well, we've already gotten that established. We've already had those talks. I know you. I know what the firm's about, and that's now we're ready to just go, ready to get going. So I thought that was really important that we did that.
For sure. What about you, Rachel?
Yeah, so, I came from a big national plaintiffs firm in Dallas, and I knew I wanted to learn there, and I learned a lot from there, but I've always known long-term I wanted to be with a smaller core group of people in a smaller firm. Not that this is a small firm, but compared to where I came from, the pace of work, I was looking for a firm that I could really build my caseload and invest my whole heart into every case. I live in Collin County as well, so I was looking for, ideally, a firm that would be perfect and in Collin County, so that checks a lot of boxes there. But then so I'm about 7 years into my career. It's a really good time to look around and maybe make that move. So I was just open to possibilities. I didn't want to push myself out there, and I was willing to wait for the firm that would be the right fit. And after, I worked with Brian Mincher previously. He was at the firm I was at as well, and respected the hell out of him and how he tried a case and how his mind works. I really liked that, and I liked that he had fit in here. And so that got me looking specifically at you and your firm and practice. And I was looking for all the boxes that were ticked, a firm that would try a case that needed to be tried and do it well. Your reputation and the firm's reputation has that in spades. A firm whose core values were the same as mine, which is its client. And don't worry about settlements and verdicts second, but clients come first. It's their one case, and not a firm that would never lose sight of the fact that these are people. These are people who unfortunately are coming to us at their worst spot, and they need an attorney they can trust to look after their best interest. And so that core value was a non-negotiable for me. And I saw it really respected in not only you and Brian Mincher, but every attorney at the firm and all of the support staff. So not just the attorneys, but all the way through, keeping that core truth. I liked that, and that's what really brought me to be interested in wanting. Well, I wanted y'all to like me too. And so, the core values being aligned, and the fact that y'all are trial attorneys, but don't try cases just for the sake of trying it, because that's a lot to ask for a client.
It is.
And
stressful.
It's very stressful, but you're also not scared about trial, right? It's often easy to get enticed by the quicker settlement money because it's there. But that doesn't mean it's right and the right, full compensation for what that client has been through. So putting that all together was what brought me to y'all, and what made me very interested and hopeful that y'all would also want me to be a part of your practice. And so that's why I think I've lost track of how many times I've said I'm excited, but because I genuinely am.
Well, and make sure, because this morning was your first day, and this morning I'm talking all about the way we do things and why we do things. But don't forget, tell us room for improvement. Like, if you have ideas to make things better, it's not that we have it, perfect. We've got our own way, but that's what I'm excited about you. I mean, you're a different generation, different gender, obviously, and I think you can bring a lot to the table. And I'm looking to get better, not just get bigger.
Same for me.
I feel like that should be a saying somewhere. Like we need to work that way.
Yeah.
I don't come up with good sayings all the time, but we're looking to get better, not just bigger. But I think y'all embody that completely. So I'm super, super excited to have your help. And y'all better get out of here, because there is a happy hour reception in honor of you, and you're probably, you got a little bit of time. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready to get started.
To the happy hour or to the firm?
Both.
Who did you fire anybody today? I'm just kidding.
I was like, what? Was it me? I just started.
No.
All right.
No
Well, with my
fires.
guys, I
Yes.
do this. I'm just going to go ahead and do
Yeah.
this. And it's so nice to have both of you. And I can't wait to get better.
Yeah.
Better in every area. Let's go get them. I can't wait to try a case with you.
Oh, me, likewise.
We'll have a great time. All right. Well, hope you guys have enjoyed the 25th episode of the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast. Stay tuned for the next.